What's up, guys? It's live from the Salvajee cartel, and the Strike the Dreadnought live stream just happened right now on twitch.tv/Bungie. And I took some notes, and I want to share these notes with you guys because yeah, this strike kind of took my breath away. I can't tell you guys I like the strike 100%, but I did see some new mechanics. I did see some new things. The bosses were kind of something new and different. And yeah, that's obviously why I'm making this video, to share that with you guys. I also want to let you guys know that, yeah, this is gameplay. I actually posted this gameplay yesterday. It's from the weekly. But let's face it, I really don't want to play Destiny now because it's mad boring. And yeah, you guys are just going to have to watch this gameplay. So for now, just, sit back, relax, and just listen to this beast information. So at the beginning of the Twitch reveal, they started showcasing the new subclasses. One of my favorite things, it's the small things that matter, man. And I'm telling you, the small things that matter could change like your whole business from like a freaking $100 business to a multi-million-dollar business. All right. So now the subclasses, they kind of have like a logo, and I really like that. It kind of gives more character to the subclass rather than just a purple ball or a blue ball, or an electricity ball. Like, it actually gives character to the subclasses. I actually like that a lot. Another thing that they did to the subclasses, they have changed them very drastically from the E3 builds. I wasn't able to note down every single change, but one major change that I noticed is that the Warlock, the Stormcaller Warlock, he doesn't have the lightning grenade anymore. He actually has the arc bolt grenade, he has the pulse grenade, and he has that new grenade that they gave him, which honestly kind of sucks because the lightning grenade is one of the best grenades for PvP in the game, hands down. Anyways, let's start talking about the strike because that's what you guys want to hear about. So the strike starts off in the Dreadnought. Literally, some Cabal crashed their ship into the Dreadnought, and apparently they're trying to blow up that ship with a portion of the Dreadnought, I believe. That's what I kind of took out from what they were talking about and saying. And yeah, the strike just simply, starts out as, you're in the Dreadnought, and then you have to move towards the Cabal ship. So, you keep on walking, and then, you fight some Cabal and all that stuff. And after you get inside of their ship, you fight a boss, and that boss, it's the Goliath tank. Now, I'm pretty sure they're going to keep the mechanics of all year one strikes where, before you fight the actual boss, you have to fight like a mini boss. And you know what? Honestly, I kind of like that. I also want to let you guys know that one of the new things that is going to be coming in the Taken King, which I have mentioned before and Bungie has mentioned before, is that every single strike is going to have like different cutscenes. And by different cutscenes, I mean that when you clear it once, you might get this cutscene. When you clear it the second time, you might get this cutscene. And also, it's going to have different enemy rotations. So, for example, on one strike, you can be fighting the Cabal, and then on the other strike, you could be fighting the Taken. It kind of adds more variety. And that's kind of a psychology type thing. Like, it kind of gives you the idea that you're doing a different strike when you're actually doing the same strike itself. Honestly, I think it's pretty good, and it's not a bad idea because the Taken fight differently than the Cabal, and it kind of makes the strike more challenging. So after you take out a couple of ads, then you move on forward to the mini boss, which is a Goliath tank. The boss fight seemed pretty alright. You did have a lot of space to move around from. Ads would, appear from the bottom around the Goliath tank. Obviously, if you don't take care of ads, the ads are going to take care of you. So, that pretty much seemed really balanced. The Goliath tank didn't have extremely a lot of health, but, it did have some resistance to it. And yeah, I really like that. After you take out the Goliath tank, you go take out some other ads, and then you move on forward to the boss room. By the way, guys, I'm going to leave my pros and cons towards the end of the video, so you guys can hear them. But mainly right now, I just want to talk about the strike and, the boss battle and all that stuff, right? So let's talk about the boss battle now. You go into a room, you have to scan something, and then boss A comes out, right? So boss A, he's melee based. He actually charges towards you and he punches the ground. And mainly what that does is that you constantly have to be moving around. So you can't be at one spot camping. Honestly, this makes the strike very challenging, right? Now, I was like, wait, what about the ads? Isn't it going to get annoying? No, not at all. Like, these guys that were playing, I guess they really weren't that good. They weren't really that coordinated. And they were still taking care of the boss, and they were taking care of the ads. And the boss wasn't a bullet sponge at all, right? So boss A gets to half health, right? And then boss A retreats, and then boss B comes out, right? Now this is a different type of boss. It's a projectile type boss, right? He's shooting rockets. You know, the rockets are landing on the ground. He's kind of like a long range type boss. He's not going to get close to you, but he is dangerous at long ranges. So, you know, ads are going to come out to support him. You know, you got to take care of the ads. You got to be constantly moving around because, you know, you don't want the ads or the boss to kill you. Pretty easy. So then you take boss B's health down to half, right? And then he retreats, and now both bosses comes out. So boss A, the melee boss, is going to have a new ability that when he punches the ground, a freaking fire circle is going to come out. And then boss B is going to have an ability that you're going to have a shield. He's going to have a shield around him, which means you can only damage him when you're inside the shield, or at least that's what I think. That's what I saw. They were actually stepping inside of a shield to damage him. Maybe you could damage him from the outside. I don't really know. Anyway, so after you take down one boss, so for example, let's say that you take out boss A, the melee boss, boss B is actually going to absorb boss A's ability, right? So not only is he going to be shooting rockets now, he's also going to be coming up to you and meleeing you. Mainly the strategy based around this strike is that you just have to be constantly moving around, you know, constantly jumping, constantly taking care of the ads. If not, you are going to die. It causes a lot of teamwork, and now is when. Alright, so one thing that I noticed in this strike is that, you know, you do need some teamwork, right? You can't solo it like the Devil's Lair, you can't solo it like other strikes, which kind of makes me worried, right? Because as a person who likes to play the Vanguard strikes, you know, the Vanguard's playlist, like 8 times out of 10, there's a person that's AFK. There's a person that's not playing, and it just makes a strike more annoying. It makes a strike you know, less unplayable. It just makes playing Vanguard strikes really annoying, and I really hate that about the Vanguard play. So I hope Bungie does have a way to deal with AFK people, and I hope they have a way to get good matchmaking into strikes, alright? Because sometimes in Vanguard Dragon, the 2 people that I'm playing with leave, and I don't get another person until I beat the boss, right? And then those people get like legendary gear. Like, come on, let's face it, that has happened to all of us. One thing that I'm kind of interested on, one thing that kind of, you know, that I'm kind of curious on, is how are these strikes going to be in a Nightfall, where we have the Nightfall modifier, where we have the Angry modifier, where we have the Solar Burn. These strikes might be harder. For example, in the Nightfall, you have to play it safe, right? So that's why sometimes in the Nightfall we use the cheese box, you know, we camp in corners. But in this strike, it's pretty much just all moving around. So I really don't know how this strike is going to sort of quote-unquote play out as a Nightfall or a weekly, but we're gonna have to see and find out. Because so far from what I've seen, like I said, you're not going to be able to just pick up, you know, some random dude from LFG to do the strike. Like, you actually need skilled players for this. Again, the strike seemed pretty easy, but at the same time, it also seemed pretty complicated, as in you're going to need skillful players to do it. And by needing skillful players part, I mean the Nightfall part. But then again, we really haven't seen how the Nightfalls are going to work in the Taken King, so I'll leave that up to you guys. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. I really appreciate it, you know, what you thought about the strike, what you're looking forward to in the Taken King, all of that good stuff. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to drop it a like, and yeah, make sure to subscribe to join the Salvajee cartel. Peace.